guys, welcome back to some obscure, well, sort of obscure toy lines from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. So this week we're going to look at 6 different obscure toys, forgotten toys, or some obscure subsets of toys. So we'll start off with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutations. This is the 2003 rendition, and these surprised the heck out of me because I had no idea that these came out. This was part of the Nickelodeon rebirth at the beginning of this decade, and these mutations focus on changing the turtles instead of vehicles, changing them into their weapons. So each of the 4 turtles would change into the weapon that they carry. And of course, from Playmates in 1993, the turtles that I'm more familiar with were these mutations. The Road Ready Mutations, which featured Leonardo, Donatello, Splinter, and Shredder. Now, Splinter of the 4 of them was by far my favorite, not character-wise, but what he transformed into, which was the Turtle Van, and it looked exceptionally well. Now, I know there was a lot of other mutations in this line, but I wanted to talk about Road Ready just because, you know, they have that transforming aesthetic where they turn into a vehicle, and I just thought that they were phenomenally done. Next up we have Best of the West by Marx from 1966. The Best of the West was the generic series name used by the toy manufacturer Louis Marx & Company in the late 60s to market their line of articulated 12-inch action figures which featured a Western play theme. The focal character in this series was the iconic cowboy and action figure named Johnny West. Along with the 2 waves of characters, the mold injecting was revolutionary at the time in the late 60s because there was actually a joint in the characters' knees, making it much easier for them to sit on the horses and ride in the covered wagons. Along with Johnny West, Thunderbolt, and Chief Cherokee, in the 2nd and 3rd waves we were given buffaloes, horses, dogs, as well as the West family. The toy line did really well for what it was. You know, it was basically toys for a spaghetti western. But by the late 60s, early 70s, when those TV shows were going off the air, the toy line disappeared as well. The Micro Universe, or Microverse, by Kenner, 1997. The Microverse toys were a way for Kenner, and later on Hasbro, to expand their licensed properties with new miniaturized versions. There were Microverse toys such as Kenner favorites as starting lineup Batman, Jurassic Park, and many more. Hasbro also chipped in with Transformers. To me, these were very reminiscent of Polly Pocket and Mighty Max in that they were miniature playsets, but the Microverse was originally made to be direct competition for Galoob's Micro Machines. On the collector's market now, if you can find these with any of the vehicles or characters, consider yourself lucky, because if it's not sealed, it's probably lost. Spin Welder by Mattel, 1974. So this toy by Mattel is another one of those really cool 70s toys, but were also kind of dangerous. Basically, you got a child-size spin welder which uses friction welding to weld or mount together plastic pieces to make car and plane models. It also came with an extra piece where you could pop rivets into the plastic. Very cool, but, you know, kind of dangerous. Sweet Sea by Tomy, 1985. Marketed as a lovely little mermaid that you could play with in or out of water, Seaweed was produced by Tomy in the mid-80s, and it came with a short-lived undersea themed series which included 1 doll, 4 friends, some fashion, cosmetic accessories provided by Avon, jewelry, and a 30-minute animated VHS. 2 hot ticket items for the Sweet Sea toy collector is finding the inflatable seahorse, Sea Star, and also the watering can with a mirror on it. Steel by Kenner Hasbro, 1997. So this is the toy line based off the movie, based off the DC character played by Shaquille O'Neal. So John Henry Irons we're going with the movie portrayal, was a mechanic that started to fight crime wearing a suit of steel. Now, say what you want about the movie or Shaq's acting or rapping, but the toy line was actually pretty cool. There was a few different waves, there was a bunch of different steel characters, all with different gimmicks, and most of the suits you could take off all or some of it, you know, just to give it that extra playability, along with a bunch of different enemies. So, as far as the toy line went, it was probably more successful than the movie or his acting career, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. And that's gonna do it for another episode, guys, episode 33 of Obscure, well, sort of obscure toy lines from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching and liking this video, and down in the comments if you can think of any other obscure toy lines, or, you know, sort of obscure toy lines or sub-toy lines, let me know down in the comments so that we can talk about them next week. Thanks a lot, guys.